Tonight we continue our series of interviews with candidates running for the Boston City Council. Our guest is one of the candidates running at large in the preliminary election on Tuesday, September 24th. We'd like to welcome William King. Thank you very much for being with us, William.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
William, this is your second try. You ran 2 years ago when all four incumbents were trying to get reelected. Nobody thought the challengers had a chance. What made you decide to run?
I just thought that the city was ready for a new perspective, a different type of voice. I talked to so many people in my neighborhood and other neighborhoods in the city, and a lot of them tell me that they don't vote because they feel their voice isn't heard. And I wanted to run and get in there and be hope for people who feel like their voice isn't heard, and give them a reason to want to come back out to the polls and cast their vote.
Well, we have a diverse pool of, I think, 15 people running at large.
Yep.
I think you might be the only one who describes him or herself as bicultural. Talk about that.
My mom, she's Italian and Scottish. My grandfather, he's Italian. My grandmother is Scottish, and my father is black. So, just being immersed in all those different cultures, the Italian culture, Scottish culture, growing up in Mattapan and Roxbury and having that culture there, and my father's side of the family. I've been immersed in different cultures, and I feel like I can relate, and I'm someone who can understand different people because depending on their background, because of my background too.
Another part of your background is that you were a teacher with a focus on science. What have you become since?
Well, I was in the technology department at Tech Boston Academy, and what we did there was so it'd be like help desk tickets that come in, so help teachers and support the staff. But we also had like a mentorship program where kids in their free period would come and spend an hour of their day in the technology department, and we teach basic technology skills to them, and just be that mentor and talk through any problems that they may be having at home or in school. Just being that support system and helping them get some necessary skills in the process.
Drawing on that experience, do you have any ideas about how to make education better in the public school system here?
So what I'd like to see is smaller classroom sizes, and that way teachers have more one-on-one time with students. And I'd also like to restore Madison Park to the former destination high school that it once was, and also get more vocational programs in throughout all of BPS. I feel like if you're taught a trade, then you have a leg up on life coming out of high school. Trade jobs can pay you 6 figures a year and help you provide for yourself and a family, and you make a good living, and it's respectable work. So it's nothing. I think there's been it's been stigmatized a little bit, like, oh, you didn't go to school, you only work with your hands, when that's not the case. Like, some of the most important jobs are trade jobs. So I'd like to see more of that in schools, smaller classroom sizes, so that teachers have more one-on-one time with students.
Well, I'm sure you've heard all around the city people feeling the squeeze of the housing market, these displacement pressures. What would you like to do about that?
With housing, I'd like to see inclusionary development increase from 13% to 20%.
And that's the percentage of units set aside as affordable housing, right?
Yes. We also need to fix the AMI, because a lot of times it's like, well, these are affordable, but affordable to who? So if we fix the AMI to just calculate people in Boston, more people will be able to afford those units. Right now, it's calculated by neighboring cities and towns.
Which means that the average is higher for income.
Yes.
Right.
So if we could do that and also close some loopholes that there are where developers, if they build like a building and there's only 8 units, they're exempt from including any affordable units. And also, they have the opportunity when they do have new development to pay out of including any affordable units. So if we close some of those loopholes and also raise the inclusionary development percentage, I think that we'll see a lot more affordable housing. But the AMI has to be changed with that.
You have an idea also for making things work better between communities and the police department. What do you have in mind?
So I'd like to see more community policing. So a lot of times, crime will happen and police reach out and they'll ask for information or, if you know anything, come forward. But a lot of people are afraid of the police and think that even if they come forward, that they'll still get in trouble just because they were associated or they were near. They don't trust the police. So if we see more community policing, more like police walking the streets, more police on bikes, then I think that trust will build, because then you have police officers building relationships with people in the community. But also get some different events in neighborhoods like Mattapan, Roxbury, and Dorchester, where there's barbecues, there's basketball games. I feel like sports is always something that brings people together. So just more of those events too.
This is BNN News. We're talking with William King, candidate for City Council at Large. William, I want to come back to some of those voters you mentioned in your neighborhood, people who might be wondering, why should I bother to vote? If you're talking to somebody when you knock at their door and they react like that, what else do you tell them? How do you persuade them to think that it's important to vote?
Yeah, just tell them how their voice matters, and it's important that they get out and cast their vote for someone they feel is going to represent them well and who's going to echo their voice and make their voice heard. And a lot of times they're just like, well, I've been voting and nothing has happened for me. I'm still struggling, and so they lose hope, and I understand that. But it's important to vote, and I want to be someone who gets in and helps those people who feel their voices aren't being heard, so that they have faith and trust in the government, and then next time around they come out and they vote.
Well, I know traditionally in Boston, one thing people want councilors to do fairly often is show up at zoning hearings and weigh in. Do you see yourself doing a lot of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of being a city councilor, I feel like. You have to be out there, you have to be interacting with people, and be seen and show people that you're there, you hear what's going on, you see what's happening in these meetings, so that you can accurately be their voice and voice their concerns if they feel drowned out.
One other area of Boston where things have not improved very much in recent years is around Mass Avenue and Cass Boulevard. We have people who are struggling with addiction. We have all of the ripple effects of that, the needles left on the ground. Is there anything new that you would like to see done about that?
Yeah, I'd like to see more treatment facilities, more programs for people to get help. I know we talk about rebuilding the bridge to Long Island, and as of fairly recently, it looks like that may happen now. It looks like we've made some progress on that, but it's not going to happen overnight. So we need to find places where people can go to get treatment. For example, on Morton Street, there's the Shattuck Hospital. It has like 150 beds in there, and that could be used for treatment. That could be used to help homeless people, give them a place to stay as a shelter. So I feel like we have facilities available, and we need to make good use of them.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
William King, candidate for Boston City Council at Large.